What's going on, everyone? Christy with Clutter Reduction Junk Removal, and today I wanted to do a little bit of a follow-up from a video I made about 6 months ago talking about if I had to restart the junk removal business, what I would have done differently. But this time I want to do the middle. So not so much my first 6 months to my first year, but now maybe like my second year, my second and a half year. So there's been a few things I was thinking about the other day about, I wish I had done this a little differently and progress with it this way, because they would probably have put me in a better position now when I'm trying to really grow things on the background. And I thought about a couple of things, and then I thought about a couple more things, and then a couple more things, and I was like, you know what, that first video got such good feedback and everyone was kind of in agreement with me, which means to me that we all deal with the same ups and downs. And I do think it is good to diversify who it is you follow for information or even for entertainment purposes, because you may notice that they do one thing a little differently and it can be a complete game changer for your business, or at least for yourself, which can also affect your business. So I want to go ahead and discuss those. Hopefully they resonate with you guys just as much as the first video did. So before we get into that though, I got Mr. Andy Wein's book he just wrote, Words Fucking Matter. I am assuming, I haven't started reading it yet, but I am assuming it's going to be a little bit of a mindset and a communication book, which I am always for, because if you weren't able to tell through my videos so far, I have a little bit of speech issues here and there. I didn't start talking until I was like 3.5. I took speech therapy until I was in 5th grade. And even now, I will still stutter certain words. I will flip my words around, not just like one here, like dyslexia, but I'll flip words that I'm thinking about like 3 or 4 words in advance, and it really screws up when I talk a lot. And it's just, the stuff going on in here is crazy. So I do think it is always a good idea to try to work on the things you're not great at. Communication happens to be one of them for me. Moving really helped, actually, being one-on-one with people and handling more legal documents and dealing with stressful people all the time, where like you can't really hide away. That really actually helped me, and doing the business stuff has actually helped a lot. And actually YouTube has helped drastically, because I can see myself and I can hear myself talk from a different point of view. So all good things to try to revamp how you do stuff. So always make sure you're improving. Let's just cut the video there. So like I mentioned, this is going to be more middle ground stuff. This is like after my first year in business, like the first full year, second year. It's just some of the things I wish I'd done sooner, maybe put a little bit more focus on, stuff like that. So we're going to run down this list. I kept it nice and concise, and hopefully something will stand out to you guys. So getting right into it, I wish I had started off with 1099 employees sooner. When I first started this business, I started junk removal because it is so much more damn easier than moving is. It is literally the exact same job with less stress, because you're not having to worry about taking care of the piece. You're not having to wrap it up. It's so much faster, and you don't have to worry about doing the double work. If you clean out a full 6-bedroom house, pack it all up, or everything's wrapped up, it's concise so nothing breaks. You go to the next place, now you get to unload it all and put it all away. With junk removal, you load it all up, doesn't matter what the heck happens to it. You either donate it, scrap it, dump it, recycle it, resell it, whatever it is, doesn't matter. It's not the client's problem anymore. So it's just so much easier. And honestly, I've done so much moving like by myself that like I felt so comfortable doing the junk removal on my own that I didn't need an employee. And I think my first 6 months, I didn't use anybody once. Pretty sure. And then my first full year, when I started getting a little bit more busy, I think I used 2 different guys. But to put it into perspective, neither one of them were ever paid more than $600. So I never had to do like a 1099 for them. And I think collectively, I used somebody for junk removal purposes no more than 10 times for the whole year for both people. So I've never had to turn down a job before. I've never not completed a job on my own that I couldn't figure out one way or another. And because of that, it's always been on a back burner to hire out employees or to even get 1099 guys. They're not even technically employees. They're just on file. It's just for tax purposes, that's all it is. Just on file, like they're almost like temporary contractor help. And I just never freaking did it. And now like I have it, it's more of a safety net for tax reasons. I don't want to get in trouble with anything, and I declare everything. I'm a good boy when it comes to taxes. But it's just nice knowing too that I have people on retainer that if I say, hey, are you available on so-and-so, they already know why I'm asking. And I already have a pay structure set up, and you know, those who work with me understand what it is I'm doing. They understand what to do, what not to do. When you're speaking to the client, they know what to say, what not to say. And that just honestly makes things so much easier. If I were to get that bigger job, I know I can rely on those people. So I wish I had done that sooner. The next thing is to have focused more on Facebook and Nextdoor. Now you may think Facebook and Nextdoor, because it's technically organic marketing, it's free to do, that it's more for startup companies to keep overhead low, and that is true. I think when I first started off, Facebook alone was probably a third of my jobs. Just going through groups, commenting recommendations for other companies, and then plugging myself in, or directly posting in those groups that allowed business posts, or commenting on people specifically asking for moving or junk removal services. And I think after like my first 6 or 8 months, I kind of like stopped doing that. Like every now and then I would, but I definitely didn't put a lot of focus into it. And that was one of my goals this year. And I haven't been perfect, but I've gotten a lot better. But I can literally see the results coming in when I focus time on either one of those apps. Because every one of those apps, they're local. They're not necessarily on there for entertainment purposes, unless you're like looking for drama. They're typically looking for a product or a service. And it's a free, easier way to market that doesn't require Google Ads. You don't have to go out and do groundwork. You literally you can be on your phone, you can be on the computer, you can be on the toilet, you can be waiting for a doctor's office. All you have to do is sit there and reply to people. It's so easy. So it's definitely something I'm working on being more consistent, but that's something that I just wish I had continued putting like focus on. Obviously, I talked about this in my last video. My second year in business was not purely, but heavily focused on professionals. So like organizers, realtors, buildings like senior living facilities, storage units, stuff like that. I was very heavily marketing into those sources, and it paid off greatly. But I wish I had never stopped with Facebook and Nextdoor. The next thing is to have shopped around a bit better for supplies and equipment. I spent a decent amount of money last year, regrettably. Not like, heavy induced debt or anything. I'm not out here buying trucks and trailers just because. But I definitely bought equipment that like I would have a rough job and be like, that really sucked. It'd probably be a lot easier if I had this. And I just go out and buy it because I would think I would need it again. And then it just ends up sitting in the garage for 6 months. Or now that I had like more consistent cash flow coming in, I would maybe get the slightly nicer quality in hopes that it lasts me a little while longer. But again, the amount of use it actually receives is so minimal. So I just wish I had shopped around a bit better, put a little bit more thought into it, and really stuck to what I knew, like, okay, I could use this for more than one reason. So it makes it a little bit more worth it versus just focusing on like one tactic. So that was pretty much it for like supplies and equipment. I just wish I had a little bit more focus on what I actually needed. Welcome to Florida. I helped someone load a bed frame into their car. I'm freaking sweating. It took me 5 minutes. All right, let's get back to the goods. So, one of the main things I really wanted to push for this year, especially because I didn't do a super great job of it last year, was one, going to more networking events to network more one-on-one with people, which I also think is good for putting a face to a name when you're talking to people, and it helps you kind of get to know someone on a more personal level versus just going by saying, hey, here's my business, use me, versus the other 100 businesses out there. But it wasn't just networking events, it was to continue connecting with those people in the background. whether that's meeting up for coffee, going out to dinner, lunch, even just messaging to say, hey, how are you doing? How's business? Just connecting with people like they're friends. And I think that just in the long run, just kind of helps with building a stronger relationship to where you're going to be more likely to be referred out. You're going to be more likely to be used for business, even if you maybe are a little bit more expensive. Or people are just naturally going to be a little bit more magneted. Magneted? That's not the right word. Magneted. They're going to be more attracted to want to work with you. There you go. Got the vocabulary of a fifth grader. And then the next thing, and this is super important for me personally, and that is setting up a percentage pay breakdown for every job and paying myself first. Now, if you went to JunkCon 2023, one of the speakers was Mike Malekowitz, and his book was Profit First, which talks about making sure that you're paying yourself first and you're paying your business first, or you're paying yourself first and then you're paying your business versus just spending money and then focusing on what's left over. You're actually prioritizing what you have, and it's your job to make that work. So, for example, with the percent pay breakdown I have right now, every job that comes in, I pay myself 40%. Now, I do have caps. I don't go over because I have a certain salary a year that I try to get around to keep myself within a certain bracket for other personal reasons. But I'll pay myself 40% of a job. I put 40% towards operation expenses, which include labor pay, fuel, disposal, overhead bills, and any materials needed for that job. And then the remaining 20% goes towards the business's profit and to be set aside for taxes at the end of the year. And that for me has drastically helped with just keeping on top of things and making sure I'm not going over budget. And I wish I had done that earlier. And then the next thing isn't super imperative, but it is something that's helped me out quite a bit, and that is to keep better organized with the stuff in my truck. Not so much outside, although it is good to stay organized with your office supplies and like tax receipts and stuff like that, but just like materials in my truck, whether you have a dump truck or a trailer or a pickup truck only or a box truck, whatever it is, making sure all your supplies are organized and you have the things that you're going to be using most often readily available, and then have backups of those common items. So I like to keep, like, for example, I have a white tote in my truck that has pretty much everything in it that I use for junk removal. Because keep in mind, my pickup truck is also my personal vehicle as well. So I don't want it overwhelmed with furniture or overwhelmed with equipment. So I have all my small stuff in a tote. And then I have my tool bag. And then I have my emergency case that has like the spare gasoline container and jumper cables and stuff like that. And then I have all my equipment in my backseat, like kind of pinned up against the wall. And then I have extra common supplies. So contractor bags, disposable gloves, masks, straps, and bungees I have extra of at all times because you never know when you're going to need a lot of those on a job. And I make sure to keep extra power tool batteries with me. So all of my tools are DeWalt. I have like 8 or 9 DeWalt batteries of different sizes. And a lot of them I gotten off of jobs, some of them I bought. And I just always make it a point to have 2 in that container as backup in case I'm on a job where I'm using a Sawzall basically all day. And then I always have 1 inside of my leaf blower that I use to clean out my trailer. I have 1 in my power drill. And then I usually keep 1 in my tool bag as an extra for the power drill before getting into that backup supply. Because if I need to, if I'm using a Sawzall, it's a good chance I'm probably going to be using my leaf blower versus a broom because it's going to be a little easier. And then I'm probably going to be using my drill too. That's 3 batteries needed. So instead of saying they're interchanging them all, I just find it easier to have extras on hand and just make sure they're always charged. But it makes things drastically easier to know, okay, I got to go get this. I go walk out to my truck. I know exactly where it is. I grab it. I'm back on the job within a minute. So that for me has been very helpful. So that is my middle ground of things I would have changed and or done a little bit better on. Again, hopefully they resonate with you guys a little bit. This video originally was going to be a voiceover of the last couple of jobs I've been recording, but for some reason, this is for you tech guys, for whatever reason, I edited those all in my app, and I accidentally deleted them all. But I have a question for you tech savvy people. I have a situation where I will go to record a video, let's say it's 3 minutes long, and on my phone, it'll show that it's like 59 hours and 18 minutes and 37 seconds. And when you click on it, it doesn't play. It just kind of starts off for like 3-4 seconds, stops, and then just goes blank. And it happens quite often. I don't know if that's my phone or if that's like a malfunction. But if you know, please comment down below because it is extremely annoying in everyone's videos. So that's it for me. Hopefully you guys are in a similar boat. Well, actually, I would hope you aren't in a similar boat. But comment down below something that you found, not so much in your startup stages, but like your second year in, your third year in. Or if you've been doing this for a while, maybe a couple years in, whatever your middle ground is from your starting to now, let me know what you find you wish you would have done a little differently and why. And we'll see what kind of feedback this one gets. So until next time, we'll see you guys later. Bye.